Magic the Gathering recently had the biggest slew of bans since the format became popular. Jeweled Lotus, Mana Crypt, and Dockside Extortionist were banned. With the strokes of a keyboard, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of dollars of value evaporated in an instant. Game stores, longtime players, it didn't matter. All because a small group of 5 players decided that these cards weren't healthy for Commander. Or was it only 5 people? Stick around to find out. The best place to start with this is at the beginning. So what is the Commander Rules Committee? The original members were a small group of individuals who were integral to the creation of EDH. They created the first ban lists and curated the format into the game they wanted. Within a few years, Commander was gaining traction as a popular way to play with friends. Because it was a singleton format and had 100 cards and increased life totals, it allowed for engaging, fun, and multiplayer games. Wizards of the Coast took note of this and decided to jump in on the action. They officially branded the format Commander and created 5 pre-constructed decks made specifically for the format. However, Wizards did not want to trample on the players' goodwill and decided to allow the Rules Committee to continue curating the ban list. Commander was such a small part of Magic's repertoire at the time that it didn't seem like a big deal. Player counts for Commander were not even close to draft or standard players. But over time, as the game grew more popular, players grew tired of their decks rotating and longed for a more casual experience. Commander grew more and more popular. And then, everyone's favorite sickness hits. COVID-19 impacted our world more than any event of the last decade. Game stores closed or completely shut down, and Magic went online. Spell Table, Magic Arena, booster drafts weren't firing anymore because there was no one to sit down and play with. But because everyone was stuck at home, more and more people got into the game of Magic the Gathering. Sales boomed, and at the same time, Magic released its first sealed Commander product, titled Commander Legends. This was the first time Wizards of the Coast had directly created sealed product specifically for Commander players. They called 2020 the Year of Commander. Extreme powerhouses like Jeweled Lotus, Hullbreacher, and Jessica's Will were printed in this set. With lots of downtime and stimulus package money in hand, many Magic the Gathering players bought in. At the time, CAG member Josh Lee Kwai made public the knowledge that he had asked Wizards of the Coast not to print Jeweled Lotus, that it was a mistake in the game. Wizards of the Coast printed the card anyway, and the Rules Committee did nothing. Shortly after Commander Legends, they did ban Hullbreacher as its tendency to be paired with wheels was oppressive, but Jeweled Lotus stayed. As of the writing of this video, every single product Wizards of the Coast designs has Commander in mind. Every set contains cards specifically good in Commander, and every product release is analyzed with this lens. It's the only Magic the Gathering format I play, and many others as well. Commander is Wizards of the Coast's premier format. This means that 5 or so people have the power to kneecap a billion-dollar company with a ban announcement. Or do they? What corporation would allow a group of non-employees so much power over the business model? I would argue none. According to reports, the Rules Committee did not consult the Commander Advisory Group or the CAG on this matter. They were informed that massive bans were on their way, but according to sources familiar with the matter, the Rules Committee was instead in talks with Wizards of the Coast about banning these cards at least 6 to 12 months prior to the bans. That doesn't sound like an independent group to me. If the Rules Committee was so concerned about the gameplay of Commander, why wait until now? Jeweled Lotus has been a legal card in Commander for over 5 years. Dockside Extortionist for a full 5. And Mana Crypt has been legal since the format's inception. Let's take a look at 2024's release schedule. Jeweled Lotus reprint. Mana Crypt reprint in Ixalan. Dockside Extortionist reprint. It appears that the Rules Committee waited for Wizards of the Coast to give them the go-ahead on banning these cards until after the reprint sold product. Whether or not this is truly the case, this ruins the idea of an impartial Rules Committee dedicated only to the health of Commander. The reaction to the bans has been one of justified anger and overreaction. Death threats are a disgusting tool used to bully these Rules Committee members. It's time. It's time for the Rules Committee to turn over the ban list officially to Wizards of the Coast. There isn't a single major trading card game in the world that has its premier way to play moderated by anyone other than the company that creates the game. It's clear that the Rules Committee will not take action without the approval of Wizards of the Coast. So at this point, why have them? Many of these members have done wonderful things for the community, but it's time for them to retire. Commander grew into something they could have never imagined, but it surpassed their ability to effectively regulate the game experience. And with the company that makes the game weighing in on every decision, there's no need to obfuscate the blame for any decision made. It's time for them to let go so they can move on with their lives. Let the company that influences all these decisions take on the risk, anger, and vitriol of its community. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more.